I figured we should just go around the table and just talk about some small press tabletop games that we've been interested in lately, that maybe we're reading, finished reading, etc. Cliff, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, sure. I think Thirsty Sword Lesbians sounds pretty cool. It looks like it reminds me a lot of the new She-Ra series, which has just been fantastic. I've really loved it, and yeah, I think there's some Thirsty Sword Lesbians in that series. So the art style seems fun. It just everything I see from Evil Hat Games looks like it would be a lot of fun to play, but I've actually played so few of their games. So yeah, this is a game where, reading from the website, a sword duel can end in kissing, a witch can gain her power by helping others find love. An entire campaign can be built around wandering matchmakers flying from system to system. So it's a role-playing game for telling queer stories with friends. Sounds like fun to me.
Oh, wow, that Kickstarter made $300K.
Woo, yeah, they did well.
Very
Evil Hat
nice.
normally does pretty well with their Kickstarters, and from what I understand, they do not disappoint their readers.
Very cool. Opti, what do you got?
Well,
you can talk about your own game. It's okay.
I was gonna say, I really have been nose to the grindstone working on a small press tabletop RPG. So it's called Subversion, and it is basically you and your envoys from a particular community, whatever community that might be, are doing things, going on errands and fighting and defending and just sort of trying to help your community to survive or thrive in a impersonal, corporate, magical world. So that's what we're working on right now. Also, I'd really love to play some more Misspent Youth when I get the chance. And there's some cool stuff about that as well. I don't mind saying that Oz is exciting me about some Misspent Youth stuff. So yeah, I'd love to play those two games as soon as Subversion gets into an alpha. I'd love to start playing that with some friends, and then I'd love to play some more Misspent Youth because we had a blast.
Tell us if you had to pitch Misspent Youth to somebody, what would you say?
Misspent Youth is a game where you play kids, or not kids, I guess teenagers, right? And you and the other players build a dystopian world, and you build the thing in that world that is making it a dystopia, and then one of you portrays that overarching systemic bad guy. Not as a single character, but as the overarching system of oppression. And you have the best thing about it, the really, really coolest thing is everybody has values, right? Or ethics that they hold dear. And you can sell out those ethics in order to win a certain thing, right? A certain round. Your friend's gonna die. You can sell out one of your values in order to save your friend, but it gets you that much closer to being just like the oppressor that you're facing. So it's a really great game of like push and pull and how much you're willing to sell out in order to ultimately take down the person that's doing the oppression. So and it's the mechanics are incredibly simple. It's just a 1d6 and that's all you ever need. And it's such a narrative game. That's the only thing that's hard about it sometimes, is that it's very improv, right? It's like a lot of just think on the fly, and sometimes you say really weird shit.
Yeah. But you know what? You did really well when we did the actual play of Misspent Youth, which is here on our channel. Highly recommend you check that out, because that was an excellent series. I mean, that was just a roller coaster of awesome fun and depressing stuff.
It really was so good. Lots of emotion, lots of really, really great stuff. So yeah, I'd love to play some more Misspent Youth, and I'd love to get a Subversion playtest going when I get a chance.
Nice. Well, my game, I just finished reading Microscope. So that game is where you play kind of like a god's eye view of an entire timeline of stuff. You start at the beginning and an end. Your alpha and your omega, right? You set those as index cards on the table. So like humanity leaves for the stars, and then, you know, humanity is wiped out. Like those are your, right? And then you can basically just start inserting index cards in the middle for different periods and eras of between here and there. And so you're jumping around time. You can also like go and create events underneath those periods. So like this is everything that happened within this period of like leaving for a new world, finding a new planet, etc. And then you can role play. You can like really zoom in and you can role play scenes within those periods of time, and you get to like kind of just watch this world develop organically. And you can play one session, or you can play like multiple sessions. So you can just like stack all the cards back into place and then lay them back out if you wanted to keep going. So I thought that was really neat. And there was a game that was based on Microscope that caught my eye. It's by designer Kazumi Chin, Recollection. That is a really neat game. That's Microscope, but it's the beginning and the end of a relationship. So whether it's a friendship or love or family or anything like that, like you all have a different timeline for the different relationships around the table, and you play the memories that you've had of that build that relationship and how it came to an end. And you can like adjust the memories as well, so that you'd be like, that's not how I remember it. This is what actually happened. So I thought that was that was a really cool game.
That sounds fascinating.
Right? Cliff, I know that we were talking about this. You played Microscope
last Friday.
Last Friday? What'd you think?
Yep.
Give me your opinion.
I feel like I haven't gotten my head around it yet completely. It's a really unique experience for a game. It's more of a shared writing experience until you get to certain aspects of it, where trying to get used to the way the game sets up, who has narrative control, and which things you sort of can critique and veto, and other things just somebody put it out there, so now everyone has to deal with it. A very yes and in that approach. That's how we ended up with a cheese-based currency in our magical empire that would be falling because magic failed.
I want to play in that world now.
Which on the front
formerly magic empire.
It sounds silly, but you know, if you think of it, you need to base a currency on something that can't be easily faked or reproduced. And aging cheeses, I mean, there you go.
I like it.
There was basically a cataclysmic event where essentially whatever happened in the worlds made it so that milk could no longer be made into cheese. Very sweeping problems. There's an insectoid race that was working with the Dark Lord to shut down the portals in order to regulate their use and save something. But yes, in the end, we know from the very beginning of our story, before we go in, we know that our story ends with the collapse of all magic and all of these worlds left in isolation. And we can explore all sorts of stories, and that we got almost to the point where we were setting up to role play through the scene where the Dark Emperor character is attempting to pull off the shutting down of the portals, but didn't actually get into the actual role-playing part of it yet before we ran out of time. We're going to play it for another session or two, I think, and see how it goes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
Very different.
I really want to play Microscope, maybe on stream, just do like I have this idea that I've been mulling over called actual plays to chill to, so that we could just do like, you know, these kind of like small press games. Opti and I and Scrim are going to be doing The Quiet Year on December 8th. So that's going to be, I guess, our first installment of actual plays to chill to, where we like draw a map and do the God's Eye view of a community over the course of a year, post-war, post-apocalyptic. So that's going to be really fun. So definitely go and check that out. But yeah, I think Microscope and Recollection would go really, really well in that series. So definitely something I want to talk
Agreed. About. That one sounds really fun. Microscope. Actually, they both sound really... I would love to play both of those as well.
Yeah.
Sounds
all right.
really,
well,
really cool.
Let's set that up.
Cool.
And